Very good morning, my dear friends. Welcome back to Chandan Logic's English YouTube channel. My name is Shyam. In this session, we are going to practice jumbled sentences and very important tricks and tips, especially related to banking exams. Why I have said because usually the jumbled sentences that we practice are easy to understand the meaning. Whereas when we talk about banking examinations, the jumbled sentences are slightly difficult to understand because you can't understand the sentences naturally. You will not comfortably sequence them properly. Correct? Usually the sequencing procedure is based on understanding of the sentences. But the fundamental understanding, if it is not strong, the byproduct is confusion. On one side, you have to understand the sentences. On the other side, you need to find if there are any shortcuts to get the sequence in a very less time. If I say that jumbled sentences, don't have to read the sentences, just go by the shortcuts, then I'm lying. It doesn't work. Especially in banking level exams, it's not going to work. So on one side, you need to practice understanding the sentences. On the other side, you need to follow some shortcuts as well. So both have to happen simultaneously, my dear friends. So you're watching Chandan Logic's English channel. Every morning I come on live and every evening I come on live on Chandan Logic's Telugu channel. Chandan Logics has a free course that has 7,000 plus practice questions. You can practice these questions. And police job aspirants can get English classes at a very reasonable price. Now, my dear friends, if you see the very first exercise here, A, B, C, D, E, F. 6 sentences are there. And now look at the options. But I'm going to give you only 45 seconds. Can you get the answers in 45 seconds, my dear friends? Can you try to get the answers in 45 seconds? Try, guys. First of all, you try in your process. Then I will tell you my process. Yes, last 10 seconds. Last 10 seconds. If you carefully observe, this is actually a very simple exercise. Okay. My dear friends, I'll tell you now my procedure. You don't have to directly start reading the sentences and waste time. See, one thing is for sure, in the options, what is the first statement? CED. First of all, find out which comes first. E is impossible because no sentence directly starts with a helping verb. No way. Now you have C and D. You start with C. The prolonged weakness in private consumption. Okay, there is a chance. Start with D. Despite repeated attempts by the central banks to stimulate demand through accommodative interest rate policies, there is a chance, 50-50 chance. There is a fair chance, 50-50 chance. But usually there are 3 options with C and only 1 option with D. So I want to take a calculated assumption. I want to take a risk. This is not conclusion. I am only assuming that. Why will only one option will be the right answer when there are three options trying to confuse us? So I want to take this assumption as a calculated assumption. I want to start with C. Now you read C. The prolonged weakness in private consumption. Next what? The prolonged weakness in private consumption. Do you know what is private consumption? We are all private people. We are all common people. We consume food, we consume oil, we consume sugar, everything we consume. So, prolonged weakness, the meaning is in economy, the private consumption decreased. The private consumption decreased. So, after C, what is the option? E, D. So, now you have to find out C, E and C, D. Here also, I will tell you a calculated risk. There is only one CD. It can be removed. There are CE, CE. So maximum chances are with CE only. The prolonged weakness in private consumption has emerged as one of the problems that the country is facing today. Otherwise, resilient economic recovery. Otherwise, resilient economic recovery. Now CED, CEB. CED, CEB. Now I'll read it. The prolonged weakness in private consumption has emerged as one big problem. Otherwise, resilient economic recovery, what? D. D. Otherwise, resilient economic recovery, despite repeated attempts by the central bank to stimulate the demand. Now B. As the persistent divergence between the headline and growth. See, it is purely based on your understanding. That is why from the beginning, since ancient times, before the civilization began in the world, Shyam sir has been talking about understanding skills, understanding the sentences. I was talking about this since ancient times, before Christ. Today, majority students are not able to understand the sentences. There is no better shortcut. As far as this exercise is concerned, your understanding is important. First option is the right answer. I'll tell you why. The prolonged weakness in private consumption has emerged as a big problem. Otherwise, resilient economy recovery. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. Despite repeated attempts by the government to control this problem, as the persistent divergence between headline growth figures and household level economic distress has become increasingly difficult to ignore, should be CE, DB, particularly among lower income households. See, here household, here household. Generally household, particularly lower income household. No doubt BF. No doubt BF. If you ask me, process number 1, you understand the sentences. Process number 2, there is a shortcut. I have explained the sentences also to you. Now I will explain the shortcut. Here he said household level economic problem, particularly lower income household level. So BF is one best pair. Here is BF, here is BF. But only E is here, which is impossible. 99 case impossible. And that too, you can't start with a helping verb, so E is eliminated. Only the first option is right. On the whole, the meaning of the sentence is, even though government is trying to find some solutions, still the problem seems to be bigger and bigger. Simple. Even the government is trying to find out some solutions, the problem seems to be very big. That is the meaning of the sentence. Okay. Guys, can you try confidently the question number 2? Only 30 seconds I can give you time. Your reading speed is the real mantra, success mantra. Reading skills, reading speed, reading skills, reading speed, real mantra, real success secret. Yes. See, look at the options. Common sense will tell you there is a very little chance for D and B, more chances for C. Again, common sense will tell you there are more chances for C and D. I am not saying that's a conclusion. It is only assumption because there are two options with the CD. Now your job is very simple, dear. CDB, CDE, same procedure. The growing prevalence of antimicrobial resistance. The growing prevalence of antimicrobial resistance has become a major public health challenge in regions. If you see the earlier exercise and this exercise, the tone is same. Earlier you remember? Decline in the private consumption has become the major problem. Government is trying to find the solution. Here also, the growing prevalence of antimicrobial resistance has become a major public health challenge in regions where access to qualified healthcare workers remain uneven. See why? Why this remain uneven? What is the reason? Because patients frequently discontinue their medication. Simple, Ray. If you just read CDB, your answer is absolutely easy. If you just read CDB, your answer is absolutely easy. Your answer is absolutely easy. Your answer is absolutely easy. I'll explain the total sequence for you now. Meaning of the sentence. The growing prevalence of antimicrobial resistance has become a major public challenge. So today there is a serious problem. Like in the earlier exercise, what was the main problem? Decline in the private consumption. Now the biggest problem is prevalence of antimicrobial resistance. See, if there is antimicrobial resistance, what will happen? Even though you use a medicine, the bacteria will not die. Antimicrobial resistance develops, very dangerous, no? So that is a serious problem. Especially this problem is more where access to healthcare remains uneven. What is the main problem? What is the main reason? The main reason is because patients don't use medicines properly. Once their problem subsides, the patients stop using the medicines properly. Despite warnings given by doctors, patients don't listen to the doctors. So thereby the result is naturally increasing the likelihood that otherwise manageable infections will develop into serious mental health conditions and serious medical conditions, consequently placing additional pressure on healthcare. This is the result. Your reading speed, your understanding speed is important. This is the result. I can also divide like this. This is the problem. This is the reason for the problem. This is the result. You can divide into three categories. But not too many shortcuts, but your understanding is important here. Your understanding is important. I'll explain this in a simple language. Patients have a problem. The problem is they don't listen to doctors. For example, they go to a doctor, they have fever and some problem. Doctor says use this medicine for 1 week and this fellow will use it for 2 days, problem gone. He will stop using the medicine. He will not buy first of all. He will think, why should I waste money, 7 days money? I will buy only 2 days medicines. And then I will buy another days later. And after 2 days problem is gone, he will think problem is gone. But that problem is not permanently gone. The traces of the problem remain in the body. The disease recurs. That is why today recurrent cold, recurrent fever. Slowly what will happen as you keep on taking more medicines, the body will become antimicrobial. I mean, the virus in the body will become resistant to the medicines. So that is a problem. Guys, your understanding is important here. Your understanding skills are important. If I have to tell you any shortcut here, maybe hardly there is a shortcut here, but still I will try here. But this shortcut will not help you to get the answer. Okay. So if you look at EAF, see, this is one problem. Here you said consequently, conclusion statement, final conclusion. The outcome, ultimate conclusion is the whole pressure is being put on the doctors. Other than this, consequently, hardly there is any shortcut. Your understanding is important. Guys, can you try the question number 3? Can you try the question number 3? Waiting for your answer. All these exercises carry similar structure in the sentences, correct? Have you observed that? I have deliberately designed almost all these exercises in the similar pattern. Yes. Yes, my dear friends. Anybody can easily say C and D less chances. So now we have BD, we have BC, we have BC, BD less chances. So BCD, BCE, same process. BCD and BCE, same process. Try now. So this is only assumption. I am not saying this will work every time. It's only assumption. Start reading with B. The aggressive expansion of unsecured retail lending has prompted. So C is guarantee, no? So what is now the problem? In the first exercise, the problem was decline in the private consumption. Second exercise, the problem is patients don't listen to doctors. Now the third exercise, the problem is aggressive expansion of unsecured retail lending. There is no security, but aggressive business people are doing in retail. So that is the problem. That's where the problem began. That's where the problem started. So now this problem has prompted regulators to express concerns about the possibility of a deterioration in asset quality. So some people believed that if this is the problem, asset quality will come down. Some people believed if this is the problem, the quality will come down. The quality will come down. After that, read D. Particularly at a time when household indebtedness is rising faster than income. See, here you said deterioration of asset quality. This problem happens. Particularly this problem happens when income is less, expenditure is more. Perfectly perfect. Perfect. Your understanding is important here. You should have a very thorough understanding. I'll explain the total sequence for you. Don't worry. The problem is no security but aggressive expansion of business in retail industry. And that created a serious problem. Quality is coming down. Especially this problem is found in households. Because many families can't repay the loans, indebtedness. They can't repay the loans because income is less, expenditure is more. Why? Because borrowers, people who take money, borrow. they find themselves vulnerable to even relatively modest interest rates. See, naturally simple logic re, simple economy re. Your salary is 20,000 per month, but your expenditure is 40,000 per month. Naturally, you will take loans. But naturally, if your expenditure is already more than income and you take loan, and how do you repay the interest? How do you repay the loan? Already your expenditure is more than the income. Naturally, if your expenditure is more than the income, nobody will give you loan. But in India, everything is possible. Every problem has a solution. There are plans A from plan Z. So if the income is less and expenditure is more, naturally you have no solution to the problem. You take loan, but to pay the loan, or at least you need money, but you don't have income. So which means you are putting more burden. Okay. So that is the meaning of the sentence. Because a significant proportion of new borrowers have limited financial buffers to absorb unexpected economic shocks. See, shocks which may eventually undermine the financial stability of the institutions. That is the meaning. I'll explain clearly, guys. Today, it's easy to get a loan online. I think you are all going to be future bankers. As a banker tomorrow, you will not give loan to anybody without documents, and that too without coming to a conclusion that this fellow can repay the installment every month. Unless and until you have that confidence, you don't give loan to anybody. But the problem is there are many situations where tomorrow as a bank manager, you have to give loans to somebody even though you know that that fellow cannot repay the loans. Or there are many online loans. They simply tell you even your CIBIL is very less, we will give you loan. If your CIBIL is less, naturally that shows you can't repay the loan. Naturally you can't repay. Why was your CIBIL less? Because you have no money before. You had no money before. And now you have no CIBIL and I give you loan, you can't repay the loan. And these people will now again start putting pressure, high interest rate. And to clear this loan, you will take another loan. To clear that loan, you will take. You're only circulating the money. But overall, the financial stability will fall down. That is the meaning of the sentence. Students, especially the future bankers are in this session watching this video, you have to read Hindu newspaper articles, especially related to economy and banking. Okay, you should have that habit. When you open the Hindu paper, don't read the article on sports. Don't read the article on Revant Reddy or Rahul Gandhi. Read the articles related to Reserve Bank of India, finance, budget, economy, so that you can expect exercises like this. Your understanding is important. Can you try the question number 4? Can you try the question number 4? Can you try the question number 4? Yes, today's editorial number 1 was about economy. Second editorial was about sports. That editorial 1 is just about economy, all percentages. Simple analysis. Second editorial is about hockey. Indian hockey team, men's hockey team, women's hockey team and all that. Men's hockey team and women's hockey team and all that. Yes. Almost all these exercises carry the same structure, yes or no? It's easy to find. No doubt D cannot come, C cannot come, BD cannot come. So this is fixed. Again the same reason, BCD or BCE. BCA this time. But I want you to read the sentences, understand the sentences. Improve your reading skills, dear. Please read the sentences. The first exercise, the problem was patients don't listen to doctors. And then one more exercise was decline in the private consumption. And one more exercise. The previous exercise. That was also about economy. High interest rates. See. Now what is the problem? The problem is rapid development of artificial intelligence. Because of this problem, what happened? This is the problem and this is the result of the problem. Consequence of the problem. This problem has intensified debates about whether technological progress should be evaluated solely in terms of productivity gains. So, artificial intelligence is increasing too much. Now, the question is, this technological process should be evaluated solely in terms of productivity gains. For example, today we have a lot of technology. Can we consider this technology development as productivity? Particularly as increasingly sophisticated systems are being deployed in professional environments, where their ability, there means what? Professional environments, particularly their ability to perform complex cognitive tasks is beginning to challenge conventional assumptions about the boundaries between human and machine intelligence that were previously regarded as requiring uniquely human capacities such as contextual reasoning, creativity, and nuanced judgment, or whether its broader social consequences should receive equal consideration from policymakers. My dear friends, I have to tell you something. I have to tell you something. If you observe all these four exercises, in all these four exercises, the sentence is only one. There is only one sentence. Only one lengthy sentence goes such a big way. Only one sentence goes from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. The purpose of this session is simple. I want you to develop your reading skills. Understanding skills. I am telling you the right answer. This is the right answer. But I want you to sit with patience and read. Comprehending skills are important. Your comprehending skills are important. I'll read it once more. The rapid development of generative artificial intelligence has intensified the problem because many people are debating whether this should be taken as productive gains. Particularly because in every profession, every company, be it a small or a big company, sophisticated technology is a part of the company policy. Now, naturally, the ability to perform complex cognitive tasks is beginning to challenge conventional assumptions. I'm sure in banking sector also, I think after 5 years, I think by 2030, lot of technical changes are going to happen in banking sector as well. Because even today in every organization, complex cognitive tasks are beginning to challenge conventional assumptions. Because the boundaries are too much. Human and machine intelligence, the boundaries are too much. That were previously regarded as requiring uniquely human capacities. Sir, what is the meaning of this? Please explain. I'll give you a simple example. There are some tasks which only humans can handle. Machines can't handle. This is earlier assumption. This work only human can do, machines can't do. But today machines are coming close to humans, including emotions. That is a problem. Earlier, there were some tasks that were only handled by humans, such as contextual reasoning, creativity, nuanced judgments. But now, machines are coming close to that. Broader social consequences should receive equal consideration from policymakers and employees. So in a simple way, what I'm trying to say is the meaning of this exercise in a simple way is, my dear friends, are machines coming closer to humans, including the rational thinking and judgment and emotions? If so, what decisions should we take in different departments? Can we completely replace machines with humans? Or should we still segregate, this is machines work, this is humans work? That debate should happen. This is important. This is the exercise, very important. Yes, this is the exercise, very important. Yeah. Prasanna Kumar. I know, dear. In bank exams, you may not get sequence like this. But ultimately what we do is the same. Ultimately what we do, we sequence them, we arrange them, we understand them, we find the tricks. So our procedure doesn't change much. Our efforts to sequence doesn't change much. What changes is the question options changes. Maybe in some exams he will ask you a question like which statement comes first, which statement comes third, which statement comes fourth. Even to answer such questions, you need the sequence, no? So that is not a real problem, dear. I want you to improve your reading skills, understanding skills. See, this is all one sentence. See, the magic is one sentence, big sentence is broken into 6 parts. How beautiful this is. Guys, try this. Guys, try this. Yes, my dear friends, waiting for your answer. Only one sentence is broken into 6 parts. How beautiful this is. Yes. What is the answer? Let us follow the same procedure. Eliminate the option E. Now you have 4 options: CE, CE, CA, CE. Only CA, there is hardly chance. Now you have CE, 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 CEA, CEA, CED. I don't want to take this as a chance. Now, my dear friends, you have CEA, CEA. Now this is much more interesting. Is it going to be CEAB or is it going to be CEAD? That's the real question now. Okay. Educational institutions must place greater emphasis on developing the ability to analyze unfamiliar problems. Very nice. Education institutions must focus more on developing the ability to analyze difficult problems. No doubt, 100% correct. To analyze unfamiliar problems, comma. There is no comma there, but there should be comma as per the meaning. Evaluate competing interpretations and formulate defensive conclusions based on evidence. Okay. So in both the CE statements, you are trying to say education should focus on this. education must do this, must do that. Okay, why? But why? You said an opinion, but why? What is the supporting statement? Because, sorry, one second. Education department should focus on improving these skills and these skills rather than simply rewarding student certificates. Don't simply give certificates like BTech, BSc, BCom, MBA. Focus on improving the skills. Why? Why now the reason? Why now the reason? Because employers want it. Simple, no? Arey yaar, this is a very simple exercise, ra. This is really a very, very easy exercise. This is a very, very easy exercise, dear. This is a very easy exercise. Before you actually read the complete sequence, there itself, you are ready with your answer. There itself, you are ready with your answer. You are trying to say education department, education sector must focus on improving these skills rather than simply giving them rote education, because employers want not just certificates, employers want better skills, conflict management skills, extempore skills. To complete the reading, which becomes particularly important in employment environment characterized by technological changes. If they are genuinely expected, if they are genuinely expected to prepare young people for careers, they may require them to acquire new skills. That is a sequence. To give you the concluding line of this exercise, if you want to be very successful in your lives and careers, your education system must provide you with not only certificates but also wonderful skills. That skills will help you handle difficult challenges tomorrow in different professions. That is the meaning of the sentence, dear. My dear friends, in this session the motto is very simple. I want you to read the sentences simple. Forget about the options. I want you to read the sentences. Comprehending skills must be improved. Simple. Comprehending skills must be improved. Simple. Before we move on to the question number 6, we have here Chandan Logic's Kingmaker book. This book will really give you good knowledge in reasoning. And 0 to Hero 2.0 batch is waiting for you. 6.0 Champions batch is nice batch for you. CHSL students can get the best guidance here. Can you try the question number 6, dear? Find some shortcuts. All these sentences, they carry the same structures. The tone of the sentence is the same. Yes, my dear friends. Yes, my dear friends. A and D can be confidently eliminated. B also can be confidently eliminated. Now the simple logic is it C, D, E or C, D, A? I want you to just check this by reading. I want you to focus on reading skills, understanding skills. Maintaining long-term financial discipline. Maintaining long-term financial discipline requires considerably more than the ability to prepare a monthly budget. If you have to have a financial discipline, so this is a very simple exercise, my dear friends. See, maintaining long-term financial discipline. For example, if you have to maintain financial discipline, that requires considerably more than the ability to prepare a monthly budget. You don't have to simply prepare a monthly budget and say, I'm ready. No, that requires something more than that. That requires something more than that. What do you require something more than that? Despite the apparent simplicity of the advice that individuals should merely spend less than they earn. See, this is all, I can say the plan. This is all the solution. This is all the solution. Why? Why? What is the purpose? Because now you are saying the purpose. 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 Okay? This is the purpose. Okay, guys? If you want, you can read it more. I'm giving you time. I'm giving you time deliberately so that I want you to read it. See? Maintaining long-term financial discipline requires considerably more than the ability to prepare a monthly budget. Despite the apparent simplicity of the advice that individuals should merely spend less than they earn. Because effective financial planning also involves anticipating risks that may not materialize for several months and establishing sufficient reserves to ensure that temporary disruptions don't force individuals into expensive borrowing, which often becomes particularly difficult when unexpected medical, education or family-related expenses arise. See? In a simple language, I'm going to explain this in a simple language. Simple language. Many people say you should have financial discipline, which means what? Less expenditure, more income. That's it? No. Financial discipline means every night before you sleep, you take a diary and you write whatever expenses you spent. No. Financial discipline is not just about that. It is something more beyond. Long-term plan. After 5 years, after 10 years, after 20 years. The long-term plan. That is a financial discipline. Okay, my dear friends. So today's session is definitely going to be completely on your comprehending skills. As a student, your comprehending skills are thoroughly important. I'm giving you ample time. I'm giving you enough time to read the sentences, dear. Okay. Can you try the 7th one? Can you try the 7th one? Can you try the 7th one? Maybe the last exercise today. We'll stop at 7. Yes, my dear friends. Yes, my dear friends. No doubt it could be either CDA or CDB. That's all. Your speed is important. Either CDA or CDB. That's all. That's all. Either CDA or CDB, that's all. Try the CDA. Relationships that survive prolonged periods of disagreement frequently acquire a depth and resilience that superficial associations rarely possess. Because genuine friendship is often tested not by the frequency with which people celebrate one another's success, but I think there is a clue here actually. There is a clue here actually. It is not tested like this, but it is tested like this, AB. So the meaning of this exercise is, my dear friends, you're talking about the relationships. You're talking about the relationships. They should be based on empathy, mutual respect, patience, adaptability, and so on. It can't just work out like that. You're right, not only but also like that, not but. Guys, I will give you 3 questions as a homework. Can you try the homework, dear? Can you try the homework, dear? When I say homework, you know what to do. Give your answers in the comment section. Question number 8, take the screenshot. Give your answer in the comment section. Not now, after the session is over. Question number 9. Question number 9. Give your answer in the comment section. Not now, after the class is over. Question number 10. Please focus on your comprehending skills. Please focus on your reading skills. Practice jumbled exercises. I want you to message all the 3 answers in the comment section once the video is over. Practice the jumble. Thank you so much.